for all participants of kinematics and dynamics course. Today, we will complete the lectures on the work and energy, and Thursday there will be tutorials from Pak Andi about the force and acceleration and work and energy. So I think this week we will complete it 2 parts of the course: force and acceleration, work and energy. And then next 2 weeks we will discuss the last part of the course, the momentum and impulse. So let's start with the last part of work and energy. Let me share my screen. Okay, we will review some of the principle of work and energy that we have discussed last week. Okay, is my screen presented to your computer?
Sudah, Pak.
Sudah. So in the work and energy principle, we have to define work done by the force and the kinetic energy of the system itself. So first, we have defined how we can formulate the kinetic energy of a rigid body, and we know that a rigid body, its motion can be represented by 2 motion, the translation and the rotation. And we can use any point at that rigid body as the reference. So in principle, if we define the motion of this rigid body as the motion of point P, any arbitrary point, and the rotation of that rigid body, so we can define velocity of any particles on that rigid body using that 2 parameters. And by summing up all the kinetic energy of each particle, we will obtain this equation. Actually, the formulation of kinetic energy depends on the velocity of our reference, the translation velocity Vp, the angular velocity of that rigid body omega, and the cross product between the 2 velocity, the V and the omega. However, if we use a specific point, a special point in our rigid body, that is the center of mass of that rigid body, then the formulation of the kinetic energy becomes simpler. The kinetic energy equals to half m, the mass of the rigid body, multiplied with the velocity at its rigid body squared, plus half ig multiplied with mass moment of inertia about g multiplied with the angular velocity of that rigid body squared. So this is what you have to realize, that if you use this equation, it is specifically valid for the information of velocity about the rigid body. But if you want to calculate using any reference point, any arbitrary point, then you cannot use this equation. You have to use this general equation. So this the general equation, longer, not easy to remember, and for if you want to use a simpler equation, just use this equation. But you have to realize that this is valid only if you use center of mass as your reference point. This has been illustrated by this this example. If we want to calculate the kinetic energy of this rigid bar, and we know the distribution of velocity like this, 0 at the bottom end and 2 Vg at the upper end. And we assume that this is an homogeneous heterogeneous beam. The center of mass is in the middle of the beam. We can find out that the velocity of the rigid body at the center of mass equals to Vg, half the difference between the two, and its angular velocity can be found by find the difference between velocity at upper end with the lower end divided by the distance between those 2 points. So this is the angular velocity. This is the velocity at the center of mass, and this is the representation of motion of this rigid bar at or by using velocity at its center of mass, and then we can calculate its kinetic energy just adding half m Vg squared plus half I omega squared. However, if you want to use any representation of the motion of this rigid body, not by using velocity at G, but velocity at P at the upper end, and this is the information of the velocity. The velocity is 2 Vg here. Angular velocity is the same, omega. Then, if you want to use those information, those velocities in the formulation of kinetic energy, then don't use this equation. It is wrong. What you have to do, you have to use this equation, the more general form. And then if you calculate, introduce all those parameters into this equation, then you will obtain the same result. So that is the how we can formulate the kinetic energy of a rigid body by using information. Usually, practically, we define the velocity at the center of mass of the rigid body and then calculate by using this simple equation. But what I should remind you that this is very special equation. You cannot use this for a general point. The general equation of the kinetic energy is represented by this equation. Okay, and then you can use the equation for calculating the kinetic energy of a system consisting of several rigid body, but then you have to analyze kinematically the motion of its rigid body in a system and then calculate its kinetic energy based on the specific equation, specific motion of its rigid body, and then add them up to obtain the total kinetic energy of the system. Okay. The next is how we define work. Work is done by force, which moves, and the displacement of that force should be in the direction of the force. So if you have force working on a rigid body, but the displacement of that force is perpendicular to that direction of force, then there is no work done by the force. The work done by the force has to be caused by the displacement in the direction of that rigid body. I think that's pretty similar as we have, or as you have learned previously with Pak Bambang on particles. For a rigid body, another kind of force is a moment. Moment, actually, we can represent a moment as a pair of forces working in opposite direction at a certain distance. So the distance multiplied with the force equals to moment of that pair of forces. And if we want to find the work done by that moment, then we can calculate the work done by its force and sum them up to obtain the work done by the moment. So we have seen that for a moment can only produce work when there is an angular displacement related with that moment. So if you have a system. There is a moment working on that system, but the motion or the displacement of that system is only translation. Then the moment will not do any work. You can say that the moment only produce work to a system if the system displays in rotation displacement. You have seen this. We have seen this previously, that a pair of forces. This is a pair of forces representing a moment, and then when the displacement is translation, a similar displacement between this point and this point, then the total work done by these two forces is 0. If we have a rotation displacement like this, then we can calculate the work done by its force, the value of the work done by its force are the same, and then the result just add the work done by its force, and we obtain the total work done by the moment. Okay, this is an example. I will discuss this example again. So we have this system, this bar, rigid bar. It is hinged at this point. The bar can rotate as a rigid body about this hinge. We put several forces on this rigid bar. The first is the P, the force acting perpendicularly to this bar at 3 meters from the hinge. The second is the spring. We put a spring to this bar. It is attached at a fixed point, 2 meters from O, say this is A, from A. And then the upper end of the spring is placed not fixed, but in a slot, horizontal slot. So the spring always keep its vertical position. It is always vertical because once the rod rotates about its point, then this point B slides such that the spring always in vertical direction. So we can find the elongation of its time the bar rotates by following that the motion of this spring. The B always follows the path of this attachment point, such that it is always in vertical direction. Another force acting on this bar is moment. We put moment 50 Newton meters working on this rigid bar, and actually there is some other forces. If we draw the free body diagram of this rigid bar, we have weight of the bar acting in the middle of the bar, and also the reaction forces acting on the hinge at this point A. So this is the free body diagram of the rigid bar and all forces acting on this rigid bar. It's a constant 8 Newton force acting perpendicular to the bar, and we have spring forces from spring acting always perpendicular, always in vertical direction, because the spring is always in vertical direction. This is the way of the bar, always downward vertically. This is the moment, 50 Newton meter, and this is the reacting forces at point A in Y and X direction. So if we analyze how much works done by each force during the rotation of this bar, say from 0, from horizontal position to vertical position, a rotation of 90 degree or half pi, then we can calculate the work done by its force by realizing what is the displacement related to its force. So first, work of the weight of the bar. we see that the initial position of the bar is here, the position of the way is at this level, and then for a 90-degree displacement, the bar is in vertical direction like this, and the weight of the bar is half the length of the bar, is half 1.5 meters below. So because the displacement is from this position to 1.5 meter below, the weight of the direction of weight is downward. The work done by the weight is mg. Okay, this is 10 kilogram multiplied with g multiplied with the displacement half 1.5 meter. So you obtain this value. Work done by moment m, just simply the value of that moment multiplied with the angular rotation, the angular displacement of this bar, because the moment is constant, 50 Newton meter. Then just multiplied 50 with half pi, 90 degree, you obtain this work done by the value of the work done by moment. So always remember that we always use radian for that represent the angular displacement of a system. And then the work done by spring force, Fs. So first, we have to okay, this is the additional information about the spring. The unstretched length of the spring is half meter. And we see that at horizontal position, the length of the spring is 0.75 meters. So it is already stretched by 0.25 meter. And then when the bar reaches the vertical position, then the length of the spring, because this is 2 meters, the length of the spring will be 2 meters downward from the hinge plus 0.75. So the total length of the spring is 2.75 meters. And it is stretched by, because the unstretched length is 0.5, the elongation will be 2.75 minus 0.5, you obtain this value. So at the beginning, the spring extension in horizontal, when the bar is in horizontal position, is 0.25 meter, and its extension when the bar is in vertical direction is this length. So you can find the work done by the spring, half k multiplied with s squared minus, and you can calculate the difference between the half k s squared. This is the work done by the spring from the displacement that represent the position where the spring is elongates with 0.25 meter, and this is the last position where the elongation is 2.25 meter. You obtain that the work done by the spring is minus 75 joule. This is the work done by the spring, and the work done by this force P. You can see that this force move along the arc of pi over 2, along an arc of 90 degree. So the length of the displacement is a quarter of a circular length of a circle. Then you just calculate 80 multiplied with pi over 2 multiplied with the radius 3. This is the work done by the force P. And finally, if we analyze the work done by reaction forces at AX and AY, there is no displacement occur to this point. So the position of force AX and AY is always the same. Then the work done by AX and AY equals to 0. So from this example, you can see how we can calculate work done by its force and moment, and we have to analyze first what is the displacement related to that force, and by knowing what displacement related with its force, you can calculate the work done by its force. Oke, jadi apa yang kita lihat ini adalah contoh bagaimana kita menganalisa, karena pada sistem benda kaku itu gaya yang bekerja bukan hanya gaya tapi juga ada momen. Tadi kita sudah bahas bahwa momen bisa kita wakilkan dengan pasangan gaya yang bekerja berlawanan dengan arah tertentu. Dan kita sudah membahas bahwa dengan analisis seperti itu, momen itu hanya akan melakukan kerja kalau perpindahan yang dialami oleh momen tersebut dalam bentuk perpindahan rotasi, angular displacement, maka kita bisa, nah ini ilustrasinya bagaimana kita menghitung gaya kerja yang dilakukan oleh tiap-tiap jenis gaya. Jadi ada gaya yang konstan arahnya seperti gaya berat, dan maka kita harus memperhatikan perpindahan dalam arah vertikal yang dialami oleh gaya tersebut. Itu yang seperti yang dicontohkan oleh gaya berat selalu vertikal, dan kita akan menghitung kerja oleh gaya berat hanya berdasarkan perpindahan benda dalam arah vertikal saja. Perpindahannya yang dialami oleh batang ini adalah dari ketinggian di level sini menjadi ketinggian titik berat benda di level 1,5 meter di bawah titik ini. Karena panjang benda 3 meter, kita asumsikan batangnya homogen. Jadi just kalikan F gaya berat dengan perpindahan dalam arah vertikal 1,5 meter, dapatnya sekian. Kalau benda berpindah ke atas, maka perpindahannya negatif karena arah gaya dan arah perpindahan itu berlawanan. Untuk momen, ya momen tadi kita, kalau momen bekerja pada benda ini 50 Nm konstan, dia berpindah 90 derajat atau pi per 2, ya tinggal kalikan besar momen dengan besar perpindahan, Anda dapatkan kerjanya. Momen ini ya hati-hati ya, karena kita tidak terpengaruh dimanapun dia berada, maka kalau momen ini bekerja tidak digambarkan di sini, tapi momen digambarkan di ujung sini, 50 Nm, juga kerja yang dilakukan oleh momen ini hanya sebesar ini, hanya 50 dikalikan dengan perpindahan rotasinya, walaupun dia digambarkan momen bekerja di ujung sini, gitu ya. Anda bisa lakukan analisis sederhana dengan pasangan gaya untuk melihat memang dimanapun momen bekerja pada benda, yang kita perlukan hanyalah melihat perpindahan rotasinya, tidak melihat perpindahan translasinya. Walaupun tadi misalnya dipasang di sini, dia rotasi 90 derajat, tidak ada perpindahan translasi, dia tetap di sini. Atau dipasang di ujung sini, momen bekerja untuk rotasi 90 derajat, dan ada translasi dari titik ini sepanjang garis ini, tapi yang kita perhatikan hanya rotasinya saja. Kalau spring, ya ini Anda bisa hitung pakai besar gaya oleh spring adalah setengah Ks, ya. Anda integralkan ds, karena setiap kali perpindahnya sebesar ds, kita perlu lakukan integrasi untuk s yang finite, mendapatkan minus setengah Ks kuadrat. Anda akan dapatkan kerja, Anda cek lagi di partikel, ini sama seperti yang di partikel, karena yang penting kita melihat di mana spring itu dipasang pada benda kaku, bagaimana perpindahan yang dialami oleh spring tersebut, dan itu berapa besar inisial ekstensinya, berapa besar regangan awal, berapa besar regangan akhir, itu yang digunakan untuk menghitung kerja oleh spring. Kalau kerja oleh gaya P dan kerja oleh gaya A, ya ini berarti standar. P kita lihat di lintasannya panjangnya berapa, kita kalikan. Kerja oleh A, lintasannya 0, kerjanya 0. Jadi ini Anda pahami ini. Kalau Anda sudah paham ini, next untuk merumuskan kerja dan energi pada satu benda kaku tidak akan ada masalah. Oke, ini materi yang kemarin. Ada komentar, ada pertanyaan sampai di sini? Oke, kalau nggak ada saya teruskan. Next, bagian terusnya adalah principle of work and energy. So the principle of work energy is derived directly from F equal to ma, but you integrate that equation in X domain, in space domain. So you have that the integration of F equals to work, and then the integration of A equals to half m v squared, or the energy of the system. You have this basic equation like in a particle, the initial kinetic energy of a system plus the work done by all forces during one displacement increase the kinetic energy to T2. This is a very basic equation, very general equation, where the work here is calculated for all forces and moments during body displacement, during the displacement. You can use this equation and calculate the work done by the just force, any moment, including force from gravitational force and force coming from spring. You put all those works at this position, and when you know the initial kinetic energy of the system, then you will obtain the final kinetic energy of the system in translation and rotation for the rigid body. So this is a very general equation, and you can use this equation whenever you find a force working on a rigid body, and you can calculate the work done by its force during the displacement of that rigid body. Then just add the total work done by all forces with the initial kinetic energy, then you will obtain the final kinetic energy of the system. This is an example how we can use that principle to analyze the motion of this bar. In this example, I will show you that first we have to analyze the kinematics of this rigid bar before we do the kinetic analysis. So this is a rigid bar, AB, with a center of mass in the middle, G, and it is this bar is placed in a slotted system like this, such that the point A can move only in vertical direction along this slot, along this vertical slot, and point B can move only in horizontal horizontal direction along this slot. The mass of the bar is 10 kilogram, and then initially the bar is at rest in vertical position like this. So it is at rest in vertical position. So the velocity of this bar is 0 at its center of gravity, and angular velocity also 0. So by using this information, you know that all points on this rigid bar also has 0 velocity. Then we put 50 Newton force on this point, and move this point to the left, and subsequently, because we have a rigid bar, point A should move downward following some kinematic relation. So we have to define what is the velocity, angular velocity of this bar at this position at 45 degree by neglecting the mass of this cylinder. So we assume this cylinder, this slider has 0 mass, and there is no friction acting between the slider and the slot. So by using the information first, we define that initial velocity of this bar, we already know that it is at rest, and the velocity of this bar at its center of mass is Vg equal to 0 and omega equal to 0. And then the position that we have to find the angular velocity is at 45 degree. This is the second position, 45 degree. And at this position, we know that point B and B moves left to the left with a certain velocity, Vb, Vb2, say. And consequently, NA moves downward with velocity VA. We don't know yet the value of VA and VB. We have to find it out. And we can use any method, but in this example, we use in center of velocity method. We know that at this position, 45 degree, and the velocity of point B is horizontal to the left, then this bar should move with respect to an instantaneous center along a line perpendicular to velocity in B direction. So we can draw this line. Say that the bar rotates about 1 point along this line, and then we can do the same for velocity at A, because the velocity at A is in vertical direction downward. We can say that this point on this rigid body rotates about a point along a line perpendicular to the direction of velocity at point A. We can draw this line. So we find that this is the IC, because it is a simple position, 45 degree, then we know that this distance is equals to this distance, and the value is 0.8 multiplied with sinus or cosinus of 45 degree. So this is the kinematic analysis that we have done for the motion of this rigid bar at this position. Then we can see that since this distance is the same, we can say that velocity of point B and velocity of point A, they are the same. And yeah, omega is Vb divided by this length, this distance. Once we know the omega of this rigid bar, about this IC, we can find the velocity of the center of mass by multiplying omega with this distance. And this distance is again very simple for this condition, because from IC to G equals to distance from G to B. So we can find the Vg2 omega 2 multiplied with Ag2 is 0.4 omega 2. So now we already know the motion of this bar. It rotates about this point. We know once we know the omega, the angular velocity of this rigid bar, then we can find the velocity of B, velocity of A, and also velocity of G. Then yeah, kinetic analysis. Initial kinetic energy is 0. Final kinetic energy is half mvg square plus half I omega square. You know, relation between Vg and omega is 0.4 omega. This is just omega 2. Sorry, there is no 2 here. So we can formulate the kinetic energy of this rigid bar by using just the omega, because velocity of G can be expressed as function of omega once we know the instantaneous center of rotation of this bar. Okay, that's the kinetic energy at the first position, and then at second position, the work done by external forces. External forces acting on this bar consist of reaction forces from the wall, from the floor, external forces 50 Newton acting on point B, and the weight of the bar acting on the CG. And the work done by the the weight is the work done by the force 50 Newton is it moves from this point to this point. The distance is 0.8 multiplied with cosine 45. The work 50 multiplied with 0.8 cosine 45. You obtain this value. And the work done by the gravity is 10 mg multiplied with the displacement from this point to this point. So when at initial condition the height of G is half the length of the bar, and then at the second position you can calculate the height of the G is 0.4 multiplied with cosinus 45. So you can calculate the work done by the weight, and then just use principle of work energy to obtain the omega, the angular velocity of the bar when it reaches the angle of 45 degrees. It's about 6 radian per second. So you see here that we put in this equation the work done by the external forces. Oh, sorry, there is another information, NA, reaction forces from A, reaction forces from the floor B. But you see NA is in horizontal direction, while the displacement of A is in vertical direction. So the work done by NA is 0. Also, the work done by NB is 0. So the work done by external forces here in the system only by the weight and by external force E. Oke, jadi di contoh ini kita melihat bagaimana kita mengevaluasi kecepatan satu benda kaku yang kita constrain, dia hanya bisa bergerak di sini, hanya bisa bergerak vertikal, ini hanya bergerak horizontal. Kinematic analysis kita lakukan untuk melihat bagaimana kecepatan di awal. Jelas kita bilang kasusnya ini dia diam, kecepatannya 0. Kecepatan di CG-nya ya 0 translasi dan 0 rotasi. Jadi dengan 0 kecepatan translasi dan rotasi di sini, maka semua titik semuanya akan 0. Kemudian untuk kondisi yang kita diminta untuk menganalisa 45 derajat, kita tahu bahwa gerakannya adalah titik A selalu bergerak dalam kecepatan vertikal, B selalu bergerak dalam kecepatan horizontal. Dan untuk titik 45 derajat kita bisa mencari IC-nya, Center of Instantaneous Velocity-nya. Ya, pakai analisis ini kita tahu dia sedang berputar terhadap satu titik di sini yang karena sudutnya gampang, kita tahu IC-nya ada di sini dengan jarak IC ke B sama dengan IC ke A. Dan ya omega batang ya VB dibagi dengan ini, kita dapat omeganya, tapi kita belum tahu VB-nya. Jadi kita asumsinya VB kita tahu, bagi ini dapat omega, kecepatan A ya omega kalikan jarak yang sama, dapatkan kecepatan A sama dengan kecepatan B. Gitu ya. Kecepatan titik G ya sama aja, Anda kalikan omeganya dengan jarak dari sini ke sini, dapat kecepatan titik G. Jadi semua kecepatan titik A, titik B, dan titik G bisa kita nyatakan sebagai fungsi omega yang kita cari. Untuk kinematik analisisnya energi kinetik awal 0, energi kinetik akhir kita akan cari. Kerja oleh gaya luar ya kerja oleh semua gaya yang bekerja pada benda, ada gaya berat, ada gaya reaksi pada dinding dan pada lantai, kerja oleh gaya P di sini. Dan kita melihat P berpindah horizontal, gaya P horizontal, kerjanya ya tinggal dikalikan jaraknya berapa dari posisi dia di sini sampai ke sini. Gaya berat W juga arahnya, gaya berat W arahnya vertikal, perpindahan titik G dalam arah vertikal itu bisa kita hitung dari posisi setengah 0,4 dan turun ke 0,4 cosinus 45. Bisa Anda hitung gayanya, kerjanya. Kemudian gaya reaksi A dan B, karena arah gaya dan perpindahan di dua titik ini saling tidak lurus, tidak ada kerja oleh gaya-gaya tersebut, maka kita bisa melihat hanya ada dua kerja yang dilakukan oleh gaya pada sistem ini, ada kerja oleh gaya P dan kerja oleh gaya berat. Anda tinggal masukkan semuanya dapat kecepatan pada posisi akhir. Oke, sampai di sini ada komentar, ada pertanyaan? Jadi, please lakukan analisis kinematik. Anda harus pahami, walaupun mungkin analisis kinematiknya belum selesai karena justru ada yang harus dicari, tapi model dari gerakan itu Anda harus pahami gitu ya. Bentuk kinematik dari gerakan, persamaan kinematik yang ada yang menghubungkan gerakan satu titik dan titik lain, itu tolong Anda pelajari. Di sini kita pakai IC, Anda bisa pakai persamaan lain untuk mencari hubungan gerakan titik ABC gitu ya. Pakai kecepatan relatif atau mau pakai absolute method, silahkan. Tapi Anda tahu kita di sini hanya butuh informasi pada satu posisi 45 derajat pakai metode instantaneous atau kecepatan relatif, itu lebih cepat karena tidak perlu menganalisis gerakan pada seluruh posisi. Kalau Anda ditanya untuk berbagai posisi di sini, nah Anda mungkin perlu model model absolute velocity-nya supaya kecepatan benda bisa dirumuskan dengan satu persamaan yang berlaku untuk semua sudut. Oke, kalau nggak ada komentar, kita lanjutkan. Nah, sebetulnya prinsip yang tadi itu sudah oke gitu ya. Anda punya energi kinetik pada saat awal, ditambah kerja oleh gaya luar selama benda berpindah, oleh semua gaya luar, itu akan sama dengan energi kinetik pada posisi kedua. Tapi di sini orang kemudian ingin memisahkan. Gaya-gaya itu ada macam-macam jenisnya. Ada gaya konservatif. Gaya konservatif itu gaya yang melakukan kerja yang besarnya itu tergantung hanya pada posisi awal dan posisi akhir. Anda ingat gaya berat. Itu gaya berat hanya melakukan kerja walaupun bendanya berpindah, ada juga komponen horizontal ya, tapi kita hanya memperhatikan perpindahan dalam arah vertikalnya, berapa selisihnya. Nah itu kita hanya melihat berapa sih perbedaan ketinggian dari satu center of mass untuk mengatakan berapa besar kerja yang dilakukan oleh gaya gravitasi pada benda tersebut. Gaya pegas juga demikian. Gaya pegas kita hanya memperhitungkan berapa panjang awal pegas, berapa panjang stretch awal dari pegas, berapa besar stretch akhir dari pegas, maka kita bisa menghitung berapa besar kerja yang dilakukan oleh gaya pegas tersebut. Kita tidak melihat lintasnya seperti apa, apakah horizontal, vertikal, yang kita lihat hanya elongation, perpanjangan awal dari pegas berapa, perpanjangan akhir atau perpanjangan pada posisi kedua itu berapa, kita bisa hitung kerja oleh gaya tersebut. Nah, kita sebut kedua gaya itu dalam contoh yang kita bahas adalah gaya yang konservatif. Ya, jadi ini misalnya ini misalnya benda sedang berpindah secara tidak harus vertikal, berpindah dari posisi ini ke sini gitu ya. Center of mass-nya ada di sini. Benda kita juga bisa, sorry saya salah. Ini kita melihat benda yang sedang berpindah dalam arah vertikal dengan posisi, katakan perpindahan positif dari 0 reference ke plus YG, posisi vertikalnya berapa, maka kerja oleh gaya luar Anda bisa hitung besarnya adalah beratnya WG dikalikan dengan perpindahannya. Itu negatif karena ya W-nya beratnya ke bawah tapi perpindahannya positif ke atas. Kalau bendanya berpindah dengan perpindahan yang yang seperti ini ke bawah, gaya beratnya ke bawah, perpindahannya ke bawah, maka kerja oleh gaya berat W adalah W kali kandang YG. Kalau bendanya berpindah dari posisi YG2 ke YG1, maka kerja oleh gaya berat ya YG2 minus YG1 dikalikan dengan W negatif, tergantung sekarang YG2 dan YG1 selisih ini negatif atau positif. Nah, besaran W dikalikan dengan YG itu bisa kita definisikan sebagai energi potensial gravitasi atau MGH gitu ya. MGH adalah energi potensial gravitasi. Kalau di sini menjadi WYG. Nah, kerja oleh gaya luar itu bisa kita definisikan sebagai selisih energi potensial gravitasi dari posisi kedua minus terhadap posisi satu, gitu ya, negatifnya. Gitu. Karena tadi kita sudah hitung kerjanya seperti ini dan suku kanan ini bisa kita nyatakan sebagai selisih energi potensial. Karena energi potensial kita definisikan sebagai W dikalikan YG. Ini energi potensial kedua, ini energi potensial pertama. Dan juga spring, kayak pada spring kalau kita tahu benda berpindah dari posisi satu posisi dua, di mana pada posisi satu spring mengalami stretch S1 dan pada posisi dua spring mengalami stretch S2, maka kerja oleh gaya spring itu ya minus tengah kalian K kalian S2 kuadrat minus S1 kuadrat. Nah, kalau kita definisikan setengah KS kuadrat sebagai energi potensial spring, maka kerja oleh gaya luar ini bisa kita nyatakan sebagai minus selisih energi potensial spring. Jadi kemudian persamaan yang tadi, persamaan itu bisa kita nyatakan dalam bentuk alternatif yang lain. Jadi ini inisialnya, ini persamaan yang tadi. Energi kinetik plus kerja oleh seluruh gaya. Jadi di sini kita dalam persamaan ini kerja oleh seluruh gaya. Apapun gayanya, gaya luar, gaya gravitasi, gaya pegas, semua kita masukkan di sini. Itu sama dengan energi kinetik pada posisi kedua. Nah, kalau kita tadi memilah, oke, sekarang saya pilih gayanya adalah gaya biasa dan satu lagi gaya konservatif. Jadi ada gaya non konservatif yang besar kerjanya tergantung dari lintasan. Kemudian gaya konservatif itu yang tergantung hanya dari posisi awal dan posisi akhir atau stretch awal dan stretch akhir. Ini tadi kerja oleh gaya gravitasi, kerja oleh gaya pegas, itu sama dengan T2. Nah, kemudian kita tadi mengatakan bahwa UG kerja oleh gaya gravitasi dan kerja oleh gaya pegas bisa kita nyatakan sebagai selisih energi potensial gravitasi dan selisih energi potensial gas. Nah, energi ini kita pindah ke kanan. Sorry, ya, kita pindah pada posisi masing-masing. Yang VG2 pindah ke kanan, VE2 pindah ke kanan, yang VE1, VG1 tetap di kiri. Ini posisi 1. Jadi kita mengatakan energi kinetik awal dari sistem plus energi potensial awal, baik energi potensial gravitasi awal maupun energi potensial pegas awal, ditambah kerja oleh gaya non konservatif sama dengan energi kinetik akhir plus energi potensial gravitasi dan energi potensial pegas akhir. Jadi ini persamaan alternatif kedua di mana kita memilah kerja oleh gaya gravitasi dan kerja oleh gaya pegas dalam persamaan pertama dan kita kemudian nyatakan sebagai energi potensial gravitasi dan energi potensial pegas. Jadi sebagai akibatnya kalau Anda pakai persamaan yang kedua ini bentuk alternatif ini, kerja yang dihitung di sini itu hanyalah kerja oleh gaya-gaya non konservatif. Tidak ada lagi kerja oleh gaya pegas dan gaya gravitasi di sini karena itu semua sudah diperhitungkan di sini. Jadi efek gaya gravitasi, efek gaya pegas semua sudah diperhitungkan di sini dan di sini. Sini tinggal gaya-gaya non konservatif, gaya-gaya yang tidak tergantung pada posisi awal dan akhir, hanya tergantung pada lintasan yang dialaminya. Nah, ini yang suka beberapa kasus, beberapa contoh mahasiswa sebelum ini suka ini dihitung gaya gravitasi, kita hitung efeknya sebagai energi potensial awal, energi potensial akhir, pegas juga kita hitung, tapi nanti dihitung lagi ada kerja oleh gaya pegas dan kerja oleh gaya spring, dan itu nggak benar ya, karena begitu kita bilang kerja oleh gaya pegas dan kerja oleh gaya gravitasi sudah diperhitungkan dalam bentuk perbedaan energi potensial, maka di sini kita sudah tidak boleh lagi menghitung kerja oleh gaya konservatif, yang ada tinggal gaya non konservatif. So this is the alternative form of work and energy equation, where at the original equation say that we have the kinetic energy of a system, initial kinetic energy of system plus the work done by our forces equals to the final kinetic energy of the system, and then we differentiate between the work done by conservative and non-conservative forces, where the conservative forces equal in this case are the work done by the gravitational force and the work done by the spring force. And as we see previously, that the gravitational force can be stated as the difference. The work done by the gravitational force can be stated as the difference of the potential gravity energy, and the work done by the spring force as can be stated by the work that can be stated by the difference of the spring potential energy. Here we have the alternative form, and then we rearrange the equation such that the state of position 1 is at the left hand side, and the state of the energy of the system at the second state is at the right hand of this equation. So we obtain this second form of the work and energy. The second alternative stated that the initial kinetic energy of the system in translation and rotation plus the initial potential energy of gravity and elastic plus the work done by the forces. Here what we see is the work done by the non-conservative forces and non-conservative moment equals to the state of energy at the position 2, the kinetic energy at position 2 plus the potential energy at position 2, potential gravity potential energy and spring potential energy. And if you use the second equation, you have to realize that the work done here is only by non-conservative forces. You cannot calculate again the work done by gravity and spring at this entity, because it is already been calculated here as the change in potential energy. By using this principle, you can analyze the previous example. Again, we use the analysis, kinematic analysis as previously done, and then the kinetic analysis. The initial kinetic energy is 0. Final kinetic energy, yeah, you can calculate as previously. Now we calculate the initial potential energy, Vg1, mgh1. Final potential energy of the bar is Vg2, mgh2. You have obtained this, and the work done by P equal similar to previous example. There is no spring here, so we don't include spring energy in the system. So the principle of work energy is stated P1 plus Vg1 plus work done by the non-conservative force. So the non-conservative force is only P here, equals to T2 plus Vg2. So just use this those values to obtain the same results as what we have seen in the example 1. So I think this is how we formulate the work and energy equation using just a very basic form or using this alternative form, but you have to realize that once we calculate the effect or the work done by the gravitational force or the spring force as the change of potential energy, then the work done by the non-conservative force, it is the only work that should be included in the second alternative form of work and energy equation. Oke, jadi sampai di sini ini gambaran bagaimana kita menggunakan dua persamaan yang sebetulnya sama, hanya cara merumuskan kerja oleh gaya pegas dan gaya gravitasi. Tidak langsung gaya kerja, tapi sebagai perbedaan energi potensial. Dan begitu Anda sudah merumuskan kerja oleh gaya pegas dan gaya gravitasi sebagai perubahan energi potensial, di dalam kerja yang Anda hitung itu tidak boleh lagi memasukkan kerja oleh gaya gravitasi dan gaya gas, karena itu sudah ada di dalam perumusan energi potensial sistem. Jangan sampai double accounting, di energi potensial dihitung, di kerja dihitung lagi. Oke, yang berikutnya saya kira bisa langsung nanti di dalam example tutorial Pak Andi, konservasi energi ya. Kalau tidak ada gaya luar ya berarti tidak ada kerja oleh non konservatif nol ya, Anda punya persamaan yang seterusnya gitu ya. Oke, jadi saya kira materi ini sudah sampai hari ini kita sudah mengcover force and acceleration, kemudian kerja dan energi. Nanti hari Kamis diteruskan dengan tutorial aplikasinya seperti apa pada beberapa kasus. Next, minggu depan kita bahas impuls dan momentum. Itu bagian akhir dari kuliah Tindit. Oke, sorry sudah mepet sekali, tapi kalau masih ada yang mau tanya silakan. Tapi kalau nggak ada silakan leave meeting ini.